Jumong, the epic saga of heaven's chosen hero, the mystical birth and omens of destiny. In the 1st century BCE, across the vast lands of East Asia, there lay dormant a legend unknown to the world. This is not merely the story of a mortal man. This is the tale of a hero, born with heaven's will, and the beginning of a 1,000-year empire. When Hemosu, son of the heavenly emperor, descended from the heavens to meet Lady Yuhua, it was destiny. It was the moment when divine lineage met the mortal world. But heavenly love could not last forever. After Hemosu returned to the heavens, Lady Yuhua was left with a mystical gift. It was no ordinary egg. Within it slept the future king, Jumong. When King Gumwa of Buyo brought Lady Yuhua to his palace, a child was born from that egg. His name was Jumong, meaning flying arrow. From birth, he was unlike any ordinary child. Young Jumong's archery skills were truly of divine realm. At age 7, when he shot 100 arrows, all 100 pierced their targets perfectly. But such extraordinary talent would soon bring danger upon him, jealousy, and fateful escape. The princes of Buyo began to envy Jumong's growing reputation. He was not merely a half-brother, but a potential threat to the throne. One day, Jumong had the chance to prove his skills. The challenge was to hit a coin-sized target from 100 paces away. Jumong's arrow cut through the wind and struck precisely at the center of the target. That night, the princes of Buyo held a secret meeting. If we leave him be, our future is doomed. It was the moment when Jumong's fate hung in the balance. Lady Yuhua revealed the truth to her son.
You are no ordinary child. Your father is Hemosu, son of heaven. Now you must leave to find your own path.
With his mother's tears, Jumong realized his destiny. That night, Jumong left Buyo. What accompanied him were his loyal companions, his divine bow, and the mission bestowed from heaven. But Buyo's pursuit forces would not give up. Hundreds of cavalry chased after Jumong's group. Even while riding his horse, Jumong shot arrows at his pursuers. Each of his arrows found its mark, precisely at the enemy's vital points. From atop a hill, Jumong looked back at his homeland one last time. But in his eyes was not regret, but conviction about the future. He was not merely a fugitive, but a hero, destined to establish a new kingdom. And finally, Jumong and his companions reached the Amnok River. A mighty torrent blocked their path ahead, while Buyo's pursuit forces drew ever closer behind them. This was Jumong's first real test, the miracle at Amnok River. Standing before the Amnok River, Jumong faced the greatest crisis of his life. Ahead lay an uncrossable mighty river. Behind them, the growing sounds of approaching enemies. This was a situation no ordinary human could overcome. Buyo's cavalry was cresting the final hill. Jumong had only minutes left. His companions despaired, but something different burned in Jumong's eyes. Jumong looked to the heavens, and he spoke. I am the grandson of the heavenly emperor, son of Hemosu. O heaven, open the way for me. At that moment, something unbelievable began to happen on the river. From the depths of the river, countless fish and turtles rose to the surface. As if receiving commands from heaven, they joined their backs together to create a mystical bridge. This was not merely a miracle, but divine providence. The moment Jumong stepped his first foot onto the fish bridge, their backs became solid as rock. He led his companions and slowly began crossing the river. With each step, new fish appeared to pave the way. When Buyo's pursuit forces reached the riverbank, the miracle had already ended. The fish had disappeared back into the river, and Jumong and his companions had safely reached the opposite shore. The pursuit captain, struck with awe, had no choice but to abandon the chase. The birth of Goguryeo. Having crossed the Amnok River, Jumong finally arrived at the destined land of Jolbon. This was the promised land heaven had given him. Here, Among rugged mountains and clear valleys, one of East Asia's greatest empires would be born. Jumong climbed a high hill and surveyed all directions. In his eyes, he saw not mere nature, but future palaces and fortress walls. The homes where his people would live. He resolved to write new history from this place. And here, Jumong had a fateful encounter with Socerno, a local influential leader. She sensed something extraordinary in Jumong's gaze. "You are no ordinary wanderer. I see the bearing of a king." With Socerno's support, Jumong began building his kingdom in earnest. In 37 BCE, Goguryeo was officially founded in Jolbol. Jumong became the first king of Goguryeo under the name King Jumong. On Coronation Day, Jumong was no longer a fugitive. He was a king who would open a new era by heaven's will. His first declaration was clear. Goguryeo shall embrace the world. Jumong did not merely rest on his throne. He personally designed fortresses and trained soldiers. Especially his archery techniques became the core tactics of Goguryeo's army. Goguryeo's arrows would soon strike fear throughout Northeast Asia. Eternal legacy. The Goguryeo that Jumong established began as a small city-state, but would grow into a vast empire under his descendants. It would become the hegemon of East Asia, encompassing all of Manchuria and northern Korea. As years passed, Jumong became a wise ruler. He told his successors, "We came to this land by heaven's will. Goguryeo must be not merely a country, but the light of the East." When Jumong passed away, people believed he had ascended back to heaven. The son of the heavenly emperor had completed his mission and returned to heaven's embrace. Even today, traces of Goguryeo remain throughout Manchuria and Korea. The Gwanggaeto stele, the tomb complexes of Jian, the Anhak Palace site in Pyongyang. All of these testify to how great one hero's dream was 2,000 years ago. Jumong's story is not merely a founding myth. This is the epic saga of a man who accepted his destiny, challenged the impossible, and ultimately created a new world. And that spirit lives and breathes in our hearts even today. When heaven calls, heroes answer. This is the eternal legacy of Jumong, the first king of Goguryeo. Join the legend. Subscribe now.